Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be breaking down Bronny James and his most recent NBA Summer League game because he played pretty darn good, so let's check him out. So first off, this steal was actually really smart. He's able to read this really well. First off, huge mistake by the offensive player. If you are trying to wait for a screen in that high post, it ain't coming and you're going to get that ball stolen. You should be looking at getting that screen over here. But offensively, there must have been a lot of miscommunication. The spacing was absolutely horrible, and Bronny James was able to capitalize on this by getting this steal. Anytime you have a player with the ball and you're somewhat a couple of steps close to him, and he has his back to you, go for that steal, as we can see right here. And then obviously go down to the other end. And man, he's getting up high now. That is looking very promising. This one play absolutely blew up. I was seeing it all over Instagram and social media in general, so that was huge. If I can critique anything about his game, it would be this play right here. While he did score, so when he received this swing pass over to him, I understand he's standing straight up to get that overhead pass potentially to the low post. I understand. I'm not going to ding him for standing up. However, I would improve it, which would be instead of catching this ball and just standing there, standing straight up, I would be down, knees bent and ready. Because now, if he was to receive that pass and he was ready in position to get that pass and he was down low, guess what? He could get a bounce pass in on this side potentially. He could get a bounce pass in on this side. Overhead passes are really dangerous, especially when you've got a guy trying to cover one side of the post. So while I would have been a lot lower, he did end up going for that shot and making it. However, look at the amount of time that he wasted, because at this point, as soon as he dipped like this, I would be having a hand up if I was a really good defender, and I'd be having a hand down in the passing lane if I was trying to force him middle, as this kind of looks like he's trying to do. However, hand down, man down, and Bronny is able to make him pay. So him looking to get his three-point shot, I know there was a lot of issues last year with people commenting that he has no shot. Now it's looking kind of promising he can shoot that three a little bit better. It is nice to see that he's looking to get his own shot. His handles are looking a lot more crisp. He's able to use this screen. Personally, this was a terrible decision. He needs to be able to read this just a bit better, because now, with his man going over top of that screen, you don't go for the sidestep three. What you need to do is you need to be able to get to that rim and attack this man, or potentially draw this man in for the kick out to the corner. Draw this man up to you. You can kick it to the roll man. There's a lot of different reads in this situation. If he was just to attack this man and draw him up, this would have had him rolling. This guy was lifting. That would have been a 2-on-1 situation here, which if now this man guards down here, then you kick it out to this corner. If this man guards up here, he takes you, he's already on you, then you have the roll man, and he's going to get right to the rim. So this was an absolutely terrible read by Bronny James. However, he got the shot off. It went off the back of the rim. Basically a turnover because the other team got the ball. But it is still kind of nice to be able to see him looking to get his shot off. However, being able to hit screen and roll reads is something that you need to be able to do at the NBA level. So this was just a really long rebound off of his teammates just bobbling the ball. And this, in my opinion, is not the greatest of floaters right there. Personally, kick it out to the corner. You could kick it out here. This could have been an extra swing pass. There's a lot of different options. However, this little floater mid-range, probably not the greatest of decisions. You're not really balanced. Like, you are low, but you're floating forwards. You're not doing a great job of making a good read, because you would have just had essentially a pretty close to a fresh shot clock when it comes to a 14-second reset. And then the question is, did they even reset the clock? Which it looks like it might have hit the rim and might not have, but they didn't reset the clock to 14. So if it bobbled and it's got 8 seconds left, you should be able to make a pretty good read, where instead of making a contested, unbalanced floater right here, there's kickouts. You could pull it out. You can run a screen. You can do something. You can at least pull it out, take a potentially open three. There's a lot of different things that you could do instead of a contested, unbalanced floater. However, on this fast break, things are looking promising. So here we have a teammate who's driving towards the paint. Remember, in the NBA, their main goal is to try and get as many paint touches as possible. So being able to get that ball into the paint, kick it out, potentially swing it around, or take that three is essentially the strategy that most NBA teams are using. Drive, kick, swing is a strategy that you can use if you're a coach. But if we rewind just a little bit, that kick out pass to Bronny, he's able to catch and shoot. You need to be able to hit these catch and shoot threes. If he can continue to do that throughout the season, he maybe hits 2 to maybe 3 a game on maybe 10 minutes a game or whatever he may get. This becomes at least a starting point for him at the NBA level. However, he does tend to miss a considerable amount of these corner threes. This is the second one in these highlights that he gets and he misses. Now, if he's watching this video, which I highly doubt it, but if he does, there's a few things that I would definitely say. And that is, instead of catching the ball as you catch the ball here and just bringing your right leg in, this is something that generally a lot of elementary students will do up here in Canada until they learn the actual footwork. And what I would do is, or at least what I would teach is, as soon as you catch it, hop off that right foot, or you could hop off the left. It don't really matter. Hop off one or the other so that you land on both feet at the exact same time. That way your feet are set. By having the ability to catch on 2 feet, you are going to be having a set shot. By bringing your right leg in, your body's momentum is still turning towards that left side, which is potentially why, if we watch this shot, it pings off the back of the rim, kind of the back left in a way. So he was having way too much power, and it did go slightly left, which means that if he was only to hop and catch on 2 at the exact same time, he would have a much higher chance of making that shot because it would be a straight shot, or at least a very balanced shot. And hey, he makes his free throws, so good job. Anyways, if you want to become a really high IQ basketball player, make sure to go check out the center and shooting guard blueprints that are down in the description below.